All right, so here's the 900s match. This one is between had 230688 and start. So start I'm familiar with. Um, yeah, lots of games, about 300. Nice signature. Yeah, 500 total games on the site, so they've been around about. They've played about as many games as I have. Um, Played a lot of competitive, and then we also have had here, so they have about 70 games or so. Um, 300 total games. Yeah, around the mid 900s. Okay, so the match here is on Azure Radiance, which is a high funds map that I've seen a few times in Tier 4, with Cole actually being a popular pick among top players, which is kind of fun to see. There's a lot of roads, and Cole does some cool stuff in high funds with his super CO power. He can do a fair amount of damage if there's roads around. Um, okay, so this is actually T0, or well, T1 though, and it's Sensei versus Sturm. So I'm not sure if Kanbei is unbanned here, but if he is, he would be the kind of the standard pick. And then Eagle Hawk and Olaf are also really good picks here. Sensei, I'm really not sure how he fits into it, and Sturm normally doesn't do too well in this tier, but here I noticed that Sturm can go cap here, go here, cap here, and then cap here. So that's like a fair amount of that's like an extra. It's a lot of money that you're saving by jumping up in the capture chain like that. So I think that's like 200, no, something like 400, 4,000 or 6,000 bucks you get through this capture skip, and then by jumping over this river, you save another 2,000 bucks. So that's like a good 800 bucks for free that you get. But the problem is, like, after that, you still have to win the game, and so that $8,000 in unit value might not be as uh, effective as you might hope. So okay, so let's get into the game here. I Around 900 is where people start to like consistently do like moderately good openings. Okay, so start decides not to build a tank this turn. That's fine. Okay, start's gonna have enough money for a Neo tank next turn. So an interesting thing about this map is okay, actually Rocket first from Sensei, so that's kind of interesting. So an interesting thing about this map is that this base here and this base here are both cut off from the mainland. You need to build a lander from here in order to get these heavy units onto the main front, or else you have to go all the way around here to get there, which takes forever. So you're usually going to see your units, your your non-infantry mech units built out of this base here, until you get a lander, if you decide to get one, and then you can see more tanks and stuff join. So mega, so Neo tank first openings are somewhat popular here, I'd say. Oh, he actually gets another 200 bucks by that skip, or 2,000 bucks. Okay, so recon first from start. I kind of like it, but you're a little slow getting your first big tank out. So maybe a recon here and a neo tank here would have been better. Just a thought. Okay, so then Sensei goes for 2 tanks. I think you gotta go Neo Tank here. Mega Tank is too slow. Okay, medium tank. Not a whole lot of like tempo with that build. It's going to be kind of slow to get to the front, and it OCOs less. Also, it looks like actually the capture that goes here and then up. It looks like you have infantry that kind of capture that way, anyways. So it's not, you don't quite get the $6,000 for free. It's a little bit of work. So it looks like Had is definitely gonna have to build a lander here. The early tank, though, not a fan of this because now you just have 14k just sitting around doing nothing until the lander's built, which is going to be another 2 turns. Okay, so nice recon harass, harassing the side that can't be reinforced by vehicles very quickly. Okay, builds a lot of anti-air. Oh, and actually, because of Sturm's movement bonus, the anti-air deploys pretty quickly. That's actually a pretty nice little feature. Okay, it looks like Start just put an infantry out of position and got smacked by a rocket for free, which is never good. Especially against Sensei, you really, really want to keep your infantry healthy. Okay, more and more tanks built up over here that aren't doing anything, which I'm not a big fan of. And now they're going to the forests. Yeah, definitely build a lander. And don't build the tanks early. So that's my recommendation. Okay, good. So a Neo tank here, and a Mega tank. I feel like, well, Mega tank's pretty good. It deals with everything that Sensei does pretty well. The classic uh, anti-Sensei strat is to go for planes because it sort of gets around his B-copters and his mechs, and he has to answer you with his own planes. So yeah, stern planes are not particularly special, but they do sort of hit Sensei at his weak spot. So looks like yeah, so it looks like Sturm here is going to capture both of the central properties, but he's a little bit behind capturing this one, which might not even happen at all. He has enough vehicles he can block those infantry, so looks like Sturm is probably going to go a little bit ahead in income. Yeah, Start just has to figure out what to do with this rocket spam. I think he could answer the rocket spam with his own rocket spam and it would be okay because he's Stern. Okay, killing all those infantry is really nice. You might be able to snag another property with this infantry. This one in particular looks pretty juicy. Yeah, this is pretty good from start. Okay, and he built a carrier, so he's trying to carrier lock this airport. Pretty bold. Now I have to deal with the battleship. And there's a shoal blocking it, so a sub can't hit that battleship. So yeah, I think Start has to go for a bomber now in order for his cruiser to make sense. Okay, so Sensei gets really frisky with his B copters and tanks. I think he's gonna lose a lot. Um, okay, I thought he was gonna lose more B copters. Uh, okay, I see. Oh, the battleship covers a lot. Oh, okay, that's not so good. Okay, yeah, so Start is kind of moving into the firing line of the battleships when really. Okay, so the battleship was kind of. Yeah, in this situation, I'd probably retreat with everything. Use these two anti-air to kill this B-copter. Use this anti-air to kill this B-copter. Um, Move this anti-air up, and then kind of retreat out of the firing line of the battleship and the rocket, so you don't have any more free attacks on you. Just kind of like trade out the anti-air for B-copters, and then reset the situation. But instead, kind of attacks into it, and now we're going to see a pretty hefty series of shots. So here comes Sensei's copter command. Yeah, it did a lot of damage to that Neo tank. Ouch! And he gets a B-copter onto his rocket, nearly OKOs it. That hurts a lot. There's kind of a, I don't know. I heard this earlier this week. And I kind of stuck with me, which is I think I got it from watching Voice of Akasha, which is that the big heavy units are good at wall breaking, but they're not good at wiping cheap units. Like they're not very efficient at taking down tanks and artillery. Really, they're better for like opening up holes for your own tanks and artillery to go to town. Well, tanks especially. Okay, so Start has to be careful here. It looks a little dangerous for these infantry. You might lose a lot. Okay. Oh, I see. The this attack was in order to get the Super CEO power going, which is gonna land here, I would guess. Or maybe he was doing some damage here so it doesn't land in the center right. And there's that spicy meatball. Does it really land on his own Neo tank? No, it was at two. It was at 2 damage. Anyways, okay. So yeah, that spicy meatball. So okay, it didn't show the animation this time around. But yeah, that's pretty significant. Now the mega tank and the medium tank. Well, the medium tank is still in range of the battleship, which is really not what you want. So yeah, he's okay. And here's finally the bomber to deal with this battleship. Um, so yeah, I think that if you're gonna go for the carrier strat here, you kind of have to have a bomber pre-made and on the way, so you're not wasting turns with your carrier doing nothing as your opponent builds a battleship and zones it out. Because like while the carrier is sitting here, it's like there's no air units that are coming in this zone. But in the case of this battleship, it's zoning a bunch of land units from capturing these important properties. So Jade's son definitely got the better of that exchange, and it was something that it was like an exchange that Cyan or that it was something that the Penguin Nation started. So like they started this carrier battleship uh, sequence, but it really doesn't benefit them. Okay, so interestingly, through all that, so blue was ahead in unit count temporarily, but then Sensei's infantry swarm is going to change that. And this right here is exactly what you do not want to have happen when you're fighting against Sensei. Losing losing infantry like this is like a great way to lose the game because suddenly you just don't have any body blockers anymore, and you don't have a way of clearing the infantry that are in front of the rockets that Sensei is spamming. So yeah, more and more and more rockets. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rockets for Sensei, which is moderately intimidating, but it's still not lost for start here. Okay, suiciding the infantry, not a fan of that. Also, oh, I see. You have to move the bomber here so the anti-air doesn't hit it. So far, looks like the unit value is weakly in Blue's favor, and then the unit count is in Jade's favor. Yeah, all these infantry deaths down here are very devastating. Okay, so interesting. So Jade actually goes for a battleship in the upper right. Um, we could be pushed comfortably to here, but that doesn't really do anything. So yeah, this battleship may be a waste of money. So maybe Blue has a way of getting back in the game. But yeah, here Blue is really behind in unit count. Not doing well on unit value. Yeah, it's not looking good. Bomber's in range of the anti-air. Yeah, I think that Blue's about to lose it here. Oh, okay, my replay is stuck. So, okay, so then Blue makes some more moves and then decides to forfeit. Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. So yeah, that was the 900s game. Thanks for watching. We'll do the 1000s game next.